American TikTok theories, part 1.
Here we are at a council member's house, home, down here in Austin.
I'm sorry.
That's Alex Jones?
No, the comment said Alex Jones looking kind of cute. I ain't gonna lie.
No,
that was so funny.
It's actually insane into what he's
That is
become.
crazy. That is crazy.
Wow. He looks like a normal
We are
guy.
at a council member's house, home,
Who's eating good.
down here in Austin. I'm not going to tell you their address or who they are, but you ought to see how overgrown their house is. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Very nice neighborhood over there, I will tell you. But it's just crazy. Crazy.
That's nice in 1995.
Countered.
It wasn't a bad neighborhood.
Here we are at a council
It was
member's
all
house,
right.
home.
Yeah.
in Austin.
Depends on the state, though, you know? Oh, he said Austin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they had bigger
That was
and
ass.
beautiful houses.
This is why the United
I seen houses on the hill in Austin that made
Even
me
in
like
the
cry.
90s,
See, but
houses
those-
were still big. They
Those
just
are
weren't-
crazy. Those are like
Okay.
exuberant houses.
Let's look.
This is why the United States wants to ban TikTok. Over the last few decades,
What is
miners
that?
in South Africa have been consistently digging up these really strange
I
metal
don't think
spheres.
that's at all why
They
they
are
wanna
all
ban
about
TikTok.
1 inch in diameter and have these strange etchings on them. Again, they are all made of metal, and some of them are solid
Like
and some of them are
cannonballs.
hollow. And what's super weird about these is they're being dug out of rock that is pre-Cambrian, meaning it is being dug out of rock that is 2.8 billion years old. With as far as we
Whoa.
know, no humans were alive that long ago. The Earth itself is like 4.5 billion years old. And on top of that,
How we know that?
really nicely smooth balls like this are not made naturally. There has been no explanation as to where these are coming from or how they've been made, but we do know that they cannot be naturally made. They had to have been placed there at some point in history, which makes absolutely no sense and goes against everything we know about ourselves and this planet. Just saying, it's really weird, and that's just one of the many unexplainable archaeological finds that have been happening recently. Follow me if you want to see more of them.
He said that's why they want
This
to ban
is why the
TikTok.
United States
It's not at all why the United States
That
wants to ban
look,
TikTok.
if we
That is
look,
weird.
if we pull up a picture of cannonballs from the
It does look like a
1817, that might be it.
There might be a musket pellet or something.
Big musket.
That's just a conspiracy.
Who's underneath the mask, she can barely breathe.
She got shiesty, man.
That does look weird.
Her shit do look stiff.
Who's underneath the
Somebody
mask
said,
can barely
Obama.
breathe.
Pause.
What's Trump
You
trying to
retweeted to
say?
your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of bin Laden. Now, why would you send a lie like that to your followers? You retweeted
That was
it.
a retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can
I
decide for
don't get
themselves.
that.
I
You're
don't
the
take a
president.
position.
You're not like someone's.
What's Trump trying to
That
say?
is
your
crazy.
87 million
Can we see that one more?
What's Trump
you
trying to
retweeted to
say?
your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of bin Laden. Now, why would you send a lie
I know
like that
nothing
to your
about
followers?
it.
You
Can I-
retweeted
That was
it.
a retweet. That was an
So they
opinion
trying
of
to say
somebody, and that was a
Osama bin
retweet.
Laden is not dead.
That's what the conspiracy here is. But it seems like Trump might have retweeted it playing around, you know? Like it could be possible.
Do
You,
you
know,
put your
everybody
name-
believes in
If
conspiracies.
you do retweet
even the
something,
president.
you're putting your name on it.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all.
I don't know if he did that or not.
I'm gonna keep it 100. I remember when they did kill him, it was like a holiday at school.
Bro, I
Let's
literally
have a
remember
video on that.
I
That
was
one.
in my 7th grade, I believe. Was it something about 7th
They have a video on that and
Was it
like
seventh grade?
people
It was 6.
celebrating
one of
It
those.
was 6th grade.
everywhere.
I think I was in class and like the teacher told us and everybody was turned.
I remember in 4th grade, one of our teachers was like, she went off topic and like was ranting about how like Obama would never find Osama bin Laden, how John McCain was gonna find him. I remember we were 4th grade, we were like 8, and she was like going hard. I don't think that no president besides John McCain will find Osama bin Laden. I just feel confident in that. Like, how old are you in 4th grade?
They may
A
not have,
single digit age?
they may not have found him.
I remember.
He was like
No,
9,
come on,
he was like
come on,
9 years
go,
old.
go,
Like,
go,
what the
go.
fuck?
Did the 9/11 attacks happen as we were told? This question has sparked a controversial conspiracy theory. The 9/11 conspiracy theory claims that the US government orchestrated the attacks on the World Trade Center and Pentagon. Supporters argue that the official explanation is a cover-up, citing controlled demolitions, lack of wreckage, and prior knowledge. They suggest that high-ranking officials planned the attacks for political and strategic purposes. However, extensive investigations have found no credible evidence to support these claims. While most experts dismiss these claims, the conspiracy theory persists, highlighting our tendency to seek alternative explanations for significant events. It raises questions about the complexities of tragedy, the power of mistrust, and our need for answers when faced with unsettling events.
Knowing what I know now, it could be possible.
Well, we have another 9/11 like eventually coming. Like we just don't know
I
about
don't
it.
want to say that, but
I'm not saying that.
How things are looking right now, we don't know. War, immigrants, fentanyl, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Have you ever seen the footage or the assassination of John F. Kennedy? This is known as the magic bullet theory. It was the first ever conspiracy theory, and today it just turns out that it was true. For you guys that don't know, the CIA literally developed the term conspiracy to specifically cover up this event. Now, if you somehow believe that JFK was killed by one man and one bullet, you are just incredibly misled and manipulated very easily. This is how it went down. The 35th president, JFK, was going down the streets of Dallas, Texas. Kennedy was directly shot at 12:30 p.m. in his motorcade past the Texas School Book Depository. Now, the shooter ended up being Lee Harvey Oswald, and he was sitting on the 6th floor and allegedly fired 3 different shots from that floor. Of course, ultimately ending JFK's life. Now, this video footage wasn't released until 1975, or 12 years after the shooting of JFK himself, and you can see right here. I can't play the next 2 seconds of this video for obvious reasons. You can find this on YouTube, but check out why he is struggling right here. For the first time in 60 years, for whatever reason, the former Secret Service agent finally decided to speak out about the event. Paul Landis. Now, of course, the presidential candidate, R.F. Kennedy, spoke about this on his Twitter today, being like, this is a huge advancement because the magic bullet theory is now dead. The government has been directly caught lying to our faces. And yet, this isn't even being covered by our major news stations yet, even though this happened about 24 hours ago. I'm talking about Fox News, CNN, etc., and you'd wonder why. But essentially what happened is that the CIA classified that the investigations of the event resulted from one bullet, claiming a bullet went through his back, ricocheted through his ribs, and came out JFK's throat, which was the second shot in the video that you can watch, and then shoots into the governor, the person in the top left seat, and actually, I think, ricochets through him like 2 or 3 times, resulting in 7 different exits and entrances and wounds. I found it. Check this out. It is so stupid. The theory says that a 3-centimeter long, 1.2-inch copper jacket lead core bullet fired from the 6th floor of the Texas school from the shooter, and ultimately passed through President Kennedy's neck into Governor Connolly's chest, went through his right wrist, and embedded itself in Connolly's left thigh. If so, this bullet traversed a back brace, 15 layers of clothing, 7 layers of skin, and approximately 15 inches of muscle tissue, and pulverized 4 inches of Connolly's rib and shattered his radius bone. And for 60 years, the government has just said that our president of the United States was assassinated by this lone actor, who of course was conveniently killed 2 days after he was shot by Jack Ruby when he was being transported. So there was no room for interrogation. Now, the CIA has given multiple reports on short histories of what happened in the mid-1960s to 1963. But what it really breaks down to is JFK and the CIA didn't agree on a lot of things at all. And JFK would not give the go-ahead on a lot of the things that the CIA was trying to do with taking down Fidel Castro from Cuba, which was ultimately during the missile Cuban crisis. And this resulted in the Bay of Pigs. And through like a heaps of evidence that shows that JFK did not want the Bay of Pigs invasion to actually ever happen. But after rejecting the CIA multiple times and even the chief of staff, President Kennedy did not want these operations to take effect with the anti-communist Cuban project the US and the CIA were trying to pursue, which ultimately led to the CIA going behind Kennedy's back and almost causing World War III, because all they gave a shit about was the military-industrial complex and wanted, for whatever reason, to cause a massive war. Actually, there is no whatever reason. They wanted to make heaps of money off of this. But what matters today is that the very first conspiracy to ever exist was just debunked. It ended up being completely true. And again, if you haven't seen the assassination video, it's very clear that JFK is actually shot twice into this, once right now in the neck, and then probably shortly in just a second, gotta shut it off. But the United States and the CIA literally covered up the assassination of a US president. And while this is for whatever reason not breaking the internet right now, RFK, again, the presidential candidate, I really recommend you check him out. Also just shared an article today of the CIA pretty much front preparing color revolution in Indonesia. Now, if you're interested in seeing an in-depth video on this, be sure to let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.
I'm gonna keep it 100. They said the FBI did the same thing to Malcolm X.
Hey.
And they released it too.
I can see why a lot of politicians now want to shut down the FBI and the CIA. It is probably some corruption.
Do they have
that's
terms
100%
over there?
No.
What?
There's no terms.
What do you mean? Over where?
Is it ever who get the
people who
spot?
serves.
Oh, yeah.
It's who gets the
Probably-
job.
There's probably
Yeah.
people that's been in those seats for like 20 years.
Yeah, Vivek said it. Yeah, it was people that's been there for like 40 years.
That's it. Y'all don't know we've been running this damn scam. Since
No way. That's why. What's that show off Netflix? Scandals. A little fishy, man.
Hey.
Every day I think about Scandal. I'm like, hey,
Scandal. Hey.
why would they make that like that? Something
That's
fishy
pretty
definitely
accurate.
happening.
The Ozarks, that. The cartels with the government to fund stuff in the United States.
Yo, that's part 2. 100% gonna show y'all that he was not killed by who y'all think he was killed by. Malcolm X was indeed set up. Let's get into it. If y'all go back to the speech about Dick Gregory in part 1, you're gonna hear him mention 2 men run up with sawed-off shotguns and shoot Malcolm X. But like he mentioned in the interview and like what actually happened, that was not the case. The 2 men who apparently ran up and shot Malcolm X were exonerated from all charges. The 2 men are named Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam. So again, if these 2 men were exonerated, proven innocent, then who actually killed Malcolm X? Which brings me to my next point. Just a week after the 2 men were exonerated from charges dealing with Malcolm X's death, Malika Shabazz, along with the rest of the family of Malcolm X, decided that they want to reinvestigate the connection between the feds or the CIA with his death. So the day that the 2 men were exonerated from all charges dealing with Malcolm X, again, Malika Shabazz and her family heavily pursued the reinvestigation of the connection with the feds and her dad's death. 2 days later, after the request for the reinvestigation and the exoneration of the 2 men found innocent, Malika Shabazz was found dead in her New York apartment by her daughter. Medical examiners said that she died from natural causes, but we all know how that go. It's just so crazy that once she requested a reinvestigation with the connection between the CIA and her father's death, that 2 days later she dies from natural causes. It's crazy, but it make you think. What was actually the cause of Malika Shabazz's death? Alright, now go ahead and let me know what y'all think in the comments.
I'm not gonna lie, that was fishy as hell.
Now, do you know why, Mr. Muhammad?
Nah, that was extremely fishy.
What is the government so afraid of? The U.S. Navy sets off a 40,000-pound bomb in the Atlantic Ocean, 100 miles from the coast of Florida, saying that it was only a military exercise. However, looking at the footage of the explosion, it definitely didn't seem like a regular military exercise. Furthermore, it's known that there are unknown creatures or aliens living deep in the ocean. So, could it be possible that it wasn't a military exercise, but a cover-up to take out a deadly threat in the ocean? With this suspicious military exercise, many are asking...
Okay.
That was a nice loop how he had that set up.
That was pretty good right there.
Yeah, it got me.
You know, there could have been something big in there that's like we can't even scare them like that, so we're just gonna go ahead and drop a nuke in his mouth and call it a day.
Yeah, man.
Something else.
I think of the American people. I think a lot of people are scared of a lot of things. So I think it's best that they cover up a lot of things. To be honest.
Yeah,
cause anarchy.
Swear on good.
Yeah.
There's a video of that creepy woman, Shelley Moore Capito, when she pokes Mitch McConnell in the hand. Watch this here.
This is she reptilian.
I'm recording off a big screen TV, so just be patient, but watch.
What the f?
She pokes him in the hand.
Y'all see that?
And look at this guy looking right at her as she does it. And then this dude over here,
I'll be scared.
he watches and he smirks at what she did.
So what happened to
Mitch
him?
turns into a turtle.
He was probably terrified. That's probably why he froze. Did y'all see that hand though?
Just like the smirk was the weirdest part.
Pokes him in the hand.
Oh, she paused
He
him.
got passed out from it.
That is weird. I ain't gonna lie, this one's scary. I gotta get off
So
this
did
one.
he freeze?
Yeah, he froze that day.
It's not actually the North Pole. The North Pole's been sailed every year for 30 years. It's off from the North Pole several hundred miles. This is in a region that's never been sailed before. It's between the magnetic North Pole and the actual North Pole. The waters are reported to be the roughest on the planet, so we're talking 10-story seas. This is not going to be a pleasure cruise by any stretch of the imagination. We'll be breaking ice for 8 days to get there. So it's not an easy place to get to.
Whoa. Do y'all think it's a place that has not been discovered?
Yeah, it's 70% of the earth is the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean.
You can only go on top.
Yeah, I know it's not been discovered. The Bermuda
No,
Triangle.
I'm talking. No, okay, well, definitely deep, but I'm talking about like
the Bermuda
Land.
Triangle.
You talking about land mass?
Yeah,
probably land. Probably got all the ones.
Probably them people that never been in civilization in New Guinea.
But they got the land, so somebody found the land.
I've heard of that conspiracy.
This is
Birds
weird.
aren't real. That they're
In the
drones
70s, the
to
government
spy
has been
on us.
replacing birds with bird drones to spy on us. There is a staggering amount of evidence to support this, and by the end of this documentary, you will also be convinced that birds aren't real. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? Ever?
I've never
You
seen
probably
a baby
haven't
pigeon.
because they don't exist. But if they did exist,
What?
surely someone has seen a baby pigeon, right?
Wait, that's crazy. Hey, hold on.
That is
That shit
crazy.
just messed me up.
I
You don't
really
ever see
didn't
any
even get to the
baby
point
birds.
yet.
I have seen baby
I've seen
birds.
baby
definitely
birds,
seen baby
but
birds.
not a
I've never
baby
seen
pigeon.
I used to have a baby bird.
So like, where they like? Do they have?
You've never seen a baby bird, bro. That's scary.
Will also be convinced.
But where?
Bird ran into our house. They could be spying.
Oh,
on
birds
us.
flying
I'm
around all
just
the
playing.
time.
I'm just playing.
How's that getting out?
This
Have you ever
is
seen a
wild.
baby pigeon? Ever? You probably haven't because they don't exist. But if they did exist, surely someone has seen a baby pigeon, right? So we decided to go to the streets to find out for ourselves. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
No.
Have any of you seen a baby
haven't.
pigeon ever?
No, I don't think so.
I have not, no.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
Actually, I haven't. That is kind of sketchy now that I think about it.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
No, I have not. You know, I've wondered about that too.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon before?
I don't think I have, actually.
Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Whoa,
In Bangkok. Porch. On the balcony.
Do you by chance work for the government?
Yes, I do.
Coincidence? But that's not the only unsettling question.
No.
In fact, there are a whole slew of questions that don't seem to have any answers.
What about Mike
For
Tyson?
example, have you ever been successful at touching a wild bird? Of course you haven't. Every time
I
you go up to
definitely
touch
have.
one,
I haven't tried it.
Well, I
no.
touched a duck. I
haven't
guess that
tried
doesn't
either.
count.
Where do pigeons
But I ain't gonna
have
lie.
their nests at?
I
Because
can
they're
say
not gonna be.
I have some.
on
I
top
do
of
have a
buildings.
theory.
So that makes sense.
They must
theory
mix it
first?
in with something fake because, you know, Lord forgive me. Me and my brother done popped at least 20 birds with BB guns and they was dead.
Yeah, my dog used to catch birds.
Yeah, my dog caught a few birds too. But
They-
pigeons, I ain't been around.
That makes sense. They had to put their nest in a very high place or a place that's low traffic.
Yeah, pigeons put their nests on the top of buildings and stuff. So I mean, I
That
guess
makes
that kind of
sense.
makes sense why you've never seen a baby one because you've never just been at the top
They
of
up
a
there.
building.
When I be put a massage gun on the people at Lifetime, I'm thinking niggas just always working, just helping the white man since the beginning of time.
All right, let's keep going.
Y'all might not recognize this mountain behind me. This was Mount Rushmore before they called the four presidents into it. Also, this mountain and the land around this mountain was called the Six Grandfathers. It was a part of the sacred Black Hills of the Lakota tribe. And for the ones that don't know what that is, it's a Native American tribe. Now, the U.S. seized this land illegally in 1877 when gold was discovered on the land. Now, let me tell you how sick the government is. President Grant, who was the U.S. 18th president, ordered the army not to protect the local tribes against bounty hunters, aka U.S. soldiers. Now, these bounty hunters, who was really U.S. soldiers, killed everybody they saw. Well, they collected up to $300 for every Native American killed. That's kind of harsh, right? And the carvings of the four presidents on this hill took place in the 1920s. And guess who took part in funding that? The Klan.
You know, people on TikTok believe that type of stuff, though. Somebody said it's sad how people don't know this in the comments. Over 1,000 likes.
I mean, it is true.
No, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you know, if they came in and they tried to push out the natives, they're going to go that way.
We used to have to learn about that in Oklahoma history.
That could have been
the Trail of Tears.
Yeah. You know, on the state capitol, the direction the Indian faces, and that's the direction they walk.
For real?
That's crazy.
Oh my God, bro. Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
U.S. President Joe Biden has been a long-standing supporter of Israel.
So what's
In
a
fact,
Zionist?
One of his first trips.
Zionism, it's a supporter of Zionism, a person who believes in the development and protection of the Jewish nation.
Oh,
what
okay,
is
well-
now Israel.
Well, then nothing's wrong with that then.
Mount Zion.
It is a Jewish nationalist movement that has its goal in creation, support of a Jewish state, the ancient homeland of the Jews. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Cut it out?
Yeah.
It's actually a bad thing.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
basically like Jewish superiority.
Oh,
Like
that's bad.
uplift them, protect them, like keep them sacred, like
Oh, no.
can't do nothing to them. So basically, it's like a bad thing. But that's just off the record.
Well, I don't know technically what it is, but yeah, I don't know.
Jew, I'd be a Zionist. I I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
US President Joe Biden has been a long-standing supporter of Israel. In fact, one of his first trips overseas as a senator was to Israel back in 1973.
My first meeting in Israel was invited by a woman named Golda Meir, who I admired from afar, as millions of Americans did. But my education started, as some of you know, at my father's dinner table. It was at that table I first heard the phrase that is overused sometimes today, but in a sense not used meaningfully enough. First, I heard the phrase, never again. It was at that table that I learned that the only way to ensure that could never happen again was the establishment and existence of a secure Jewish state of Israel.
Biden continued to voice his support for Israel at every opportunity. He even opposed arms sales to Saudi Arabia back in 1986 because he believed Saudi Arabia posed a major threat to Israel.
If we look at the Middle East, I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
So he
Throughout
did
his
want to get away
political
with money.
career, Biden has also been vocal about his support of U.S. arms sales to Israel. This is from Biden's election campaign website, which shows a full list of his support shown to Israel over the years. There have been rare times when Biden has voiced his opposition to Israel's plans to annex Palestinian land. Most recently, during his presidential campaign in 2020, Biden said that he would reverse some of Donald Trump's policies that led to Israeli plans to annex parts of the West Bank, saying he did not support annexation. But then there's also a long track of Biden's unwavering support for illegal Israeli activity in the region. It's been reported that Biden once said he would go even further than Israel, adding that
His
he
don't sound
would
like a
fend off
conspiracy.
anyone who sought to invade his country,
They got proof
even
right
if
there.
that meant killing women or children. These comments were made after Israel's 1982 invasion of Lebanon, where around 18,000 people were killed. Considering Biden's historic stance on Israel, will his politics really differ from
Fucking
Trump
hate
when it
Joe
comes
Biden.
to settlements and other human rights violations?
My name's Joe Biden,
At least he's talking better right here.
and everybody
Yes.
knows I love Israel.
No, whoa.
Hey, he's the reason why they
been a long
attacked.
No, he just sent
Funded
some support over there. He sent some jets over there.
Yeah, but he funded the motherfuckers that came and blew that bitch up.
No, that would have been on the other side. He
So he-
supported Israel.
So he didn't send money to Iraq enough for like
The
ransom.
Yeah, I did see that. That
You
was
caused-
a prisoner swap
Hey,
though.
and
He
this
caused-
is kind of
that was a prisoner swap though.
This is kind of off topic, but kind of not. Did y'all see that video of Trump playing tennis?
Boy,
Did you see
he's
it?
going crazy.
Did y'all see it?
He was doing what?
That
You see the
underhand.
video? He was smacking that.
He's
Tennis?
going crazy.
He
In
said,
the suit, no
"Hey."
shoes on. You ain't see that? He was
I
going crazy.
play tennis the best.
I am the best tennis player. I'm the best. No one can beat me. I am the best.
I could get millions of dollars up here.
I could be the
check
best.
this shit out.
But I choose to be the president.
All right, check this shit out and stick with me a minute because you're gonna want to hear this. So if you watch Netflix at all, you know exactly who this is. This is a
No, don't do this. Don't do this, bro.
Bro,
This
just
will
press play.
mess me
No,
up.
just press play.
Y'all know
Press
what
play.
Hawkins mean, though?
Yes, bro.
What is it? What is it from?
Stranger Things, bro.
Yes, bro.
That's probably my favorite show on Netflix.
Everybody's
though.
hip.
That's my
Stop
favorite
it.
show, bro. I'm sorry. That's the only show I ever finished before, probably.
That's crazy.
All right, check this shit out and stick with me a minute because you're gonna want to hear this. So if you watch Netflix at all, you know exactly who this is. This is 11 and she plays in the hit series Stranger Things. But did you know that Stranger Things is actually based on the real life MK Ultra? The CIA took involuntary patients and tested mind control. This guy right here look familiar to you? Well, that's the real Dr. Brenner who was a scientist on MK Ultra. And he looks almost identical to the Dr. Brenner in Stranger Things. This is Alice Johnson. She was one of the test subjects in MK Ultra and she's suspected to be Eleven's mom in the series. Stranger Things is also based off the experiments of Montauk.
No.
This is Montauk right here. This is where things start to get really weird, so stick with me. This is Al Pilot, and he's apparently a survivor of Montauk. In 1983, told the world that Montauk had opened a portal. Al also said that whenever they opened the portal, a huge beast came through, and that they would take their patients, strap them into a chair, and make them lift objects. Only a few documents were released from MK Ultra, so there's only so little that we know. So is there more to the story that they're not telling us? Stranger Things be warning us in some way.
MK
Ultra.
It's a little far fetched.
I don't think Brendan and I had a theory in here before you left. Have you ever pictured something or tried to draw something that you've never seen before? Like, can you think of something like a beast or like just something weird?
Is that not called imagination?
I know, but like, what could you? No, but I'm saying though, you imagine stuff that you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever thought about something just randomly that you haven't ever seen before.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Well, you can't imagine something that you have no.
Okay, then. So when we see these type of images, people might.
Well, you gotta think about artists, bro, because
I don't know,
artists
man.
is be making pictures of nothing and make something.
No, but can you do it?
Something inspire you to think that thought, bro. Something inspire you to think that thought.
Yeah. But like the first person to think about a dark, something like, you know, creepy
fantasy,
they had to see something weird. You know what I'm saying?
Something inspired that fantasy in his head, and he
something inspired everything.
He expressed that fantasy by writing it down, and then other people read it, and it inspired them to create their own fantasy, and so on and so forth, and it continued to grow. And that's the beauty of arts and books and things like that.
Why you think they're called folk tales?
Yeah, man. Somebody was inspired by that. Somebody saw something, they were inspired. Probably saw some deformed freak and wrote a fake story about that deformed freak or something like that, or like a lizard or something. You know, I think it's something like that.
Guys, if this wasn't American enough, let us know, guys. We will find more American TikTok conspiracies, guys. This is part 1 of American TikTok conspiracies. Let us know if you guys like it. We will do more.